If it's Monday, it's time for bagels and business for breakfast.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. It's time for Bagels and Business for Breakfast. I'm Sharon Taylor, founder and CEO of the Business Vision and Development Center, and I am here with my co host. I am Yvonne Lorraine.
Good morning, Sharon, and good morning to all of our listeners. I am Yvonne Lorraine with Innovative Visions, and I'm just so excited about being here to share some great information with you all and to hear some from Sharon.
Thanks, Yvonne, because I'm going to need you on part of this session today. So, today, and the next session, and the next one, and the next one. So, anyway, today we're going to talk about business location. And when I talk about picking a location, I don't necessarily mean a brick and mortar or just an online, but those two are key factors. We got to look at paperwork that goes into picking a location. So, Yvonne, when you pick your location, you are operating out of what state right now? Innovative Visions specifically.
Innovative Visions is operated in the state of Virginia.
And you've registered it in Virginia as well.
Correct.
And then Yvonne has LCCDC. And where is that registered?
Now, the nonprofit is registered in Maryland.
But the bill.
Go ahead. Well, it's both because it was established in Maryland. So I have to register there, and we operate in Virginia. So we're also registered to operate in Virginia.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. You hit it right where I was trying to go. So when you're registering your business and picking a business location, you need to register in the state that you are operating in. And you also, if you, like Yvonne, you have to register as a foreign entity if you did your LLC in another state. And so you really need to check with both municipalities to see what's required wherever you're doing your business from, whether your brick and mortar is here, you're living there, because ultimately each municipality wants you to pay taxes to them. Exactly. That's the key.
Exactly. So another way to think about it, if you one place and you operating in other areas, same thing Sharon just said. Check
taxes.
All states involved.
They want that money, and you do not want to get caught up, found out, and owe back taxes from when your business was registered over here and you were operating over there and trying to untangle that mess 5 years down the road. So make sure that as you choose your business location, think about that as you do your LLC and possibly buy a brick and mortar or lease one. So I want you to pay attention to that. Also, different municipalities are going to require different licensures and permits. So you may not want to go over here because the paperwork may be too intensive and too high of a bar to get over, where if you go right across the street, you know how states can be right across the street from each other. If you're over here, it may be just checking a box. So you need to also check about your licenses and permits. I'm going to take a little swig.
Yes, while you do that, Sharon, I just want to remind people too that, because I know for myself, you have to know that even if you think that you, say like for the property taxes, knowing that you're not operating and that you don't have a building in that state, but that's where you're incorporated, they still want your paperwork showing zeros and a signature. They don't even care that you don't operate in that state. The fact that you incorporated in that state, they still want their report. Just do 000 and sign off.
They gonna track that money.
Mm-hmm. Keep it
The other
compliant.
thing
Keep
I
it
want you to,
self-compliant.
and depending on your business, you may need a zoning permit. So you also have to look at, if I want a child care center right here, is it zoned for that? If I want a hair salon here, is it zoned for that? So make sure you check out several things when you're looking for your business location and your startup costs. Again, because I live in DC, I know that PG County is just right across the line. And startup costs in PG County, in terms of leasing a building space or buying a space, is going to be a whole lot cheaper than if I cross the street back into the district. So you need to consider those things when you're doing your business location. But, at the end of the day, I'm going to have locations all around the country. So
That's right. Paperwork, paperwork.
So just make sure you check with your municipality in the state that you want to do business. And I also want to talk about online businesses because they're just everywhere. And I don't know whether they're registered, incorporated, or what their situation is, but I picked up something about online businesses and registration, and I'm just going to read it to you, and then we can unpack it if we can. Oh, for online businesses, you are required, and listen, Yvonne, because I'm going to want you to break this down in layman terms for me and them. You are required to register your online business in the state that you are operating from. That's one. So if it's an LLC, so if your online business is an LLC and it's registered in Maryland, but you live in DC and running out of your home, you'll have to register it in DC as a foreign LLC. And that's sort of like what you were talking about before. You do the registration over here, but you're running it out of there. You have to register in both municipalities and be prepared to pay the taxes and registration fees for both.
Correct. And based off of what you just said, Sharon, it's really I didn't hear much difference yet. It sounds like the same situation for the brick and mortar, or just running business from incorporating from one state and operating in other areas.
You're right, Yvonne, but I want our online businesses to tap into the fact that just because you're online doesn't necessarily mean that you don't need to do paperwork.
Right.
If you are generating revenue, someone's going to be knocking at your door eventually, wondering where's this money coming from and how come they're not getting their cut. And like I said before, you don't want to be in a space down the road, you on easy street, you making a little money, not paying no taxes, and bam. And the other thing about that is, and I'm getting off a little topic a little bit, you are not entitled to any government, state funding, grants, any of that if you're not registered and you're not paying into the system.
That's right.
I'm not gonna beat that dead horse.
No, that's right though. If you're an online business, you're still running a business. It's still a business, and your business still has to be registered. You still have to go through the same functions. Just because you're online did not change that. And I'm glad you mentioned that, Sharon.
And trust and believe. people are watching.
Mhm.
Because when COVID hit, a lot of online businesses popped up. And we're going to talk about that down the road in terms of, how you navigate the online space and still be a legitimate business. So,
Yes, Sharon. And can I mention this in case you have any
yeah.
more information to add to it? Something else, a little twist that might be a tad bit different for business owners to think about. If you were already in existence and running your business and you already have registered and, taking care of everything, and then you started an online, like expanded to online, you're still compliant because you've taken care of documentation if you had already done it. Is that what you get to, Sharon?
I agree with that. The only caveat to that is your brick and mortar business may be selling widgets, but your online business is selling apples. And one name is, your widget business has a different name from your apples business. You see what I'm saying? So in actuality, you got two separate businesses. Is that what you're talking about?
I really wasn't, but that's another scenario. That's another scenario. I was talking about a business that's doing the same work. They just expanded it
Okay. Oh, yeah, yeah,
online.
yeah. Then definitely you're covered. But if you
Mhm.
say, well, I already got a business and I'm going to just use the EIN from that business for this business, be careful, because when you do that EIN, it's supposed to be specific to a type of business product or service that you are doing. And they're not supposed to be used for every 5 business ideas that you come up with. You don't want to unpack that tangled.
That's right. Get your CPA on board.
That's right. At the end of the day, get a CPA. Ooh,
That's right. Yes.
All right. Thank you for joining us on this morning's Bagels and Business for Breakfast. Somehow this seemed a bit gone off track or off train, but I hope you got what you needed when it comes time to look for your business location. Check with your municipality, find out what the zoning rules are, check what taxes you're going to need to pay, what are the startup costs in that area, and get your licensing and permits. And there you have it. I broke it back down into bite-sized nuggets.
Yes.
And Yvonne, where can we find you, my love?
Oh, you can find me social media, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. I am Yvonne Lorraine, or you can email me at IamYvonneLorraine@gmail.com. And you can always find me under the BVDC, Business Vision and Development Center. And I'm gonna let Sharon share the rest of that with you.
That's right. And you can find us both on our YouTube channel, the Business Vision and Development Center. And don't forget
Yes.
to like, share, and subscribe. See you
Do it
next
now.
Monday. Do it now. See you next
Right.
Monday.
Like, share, and subscribe.